This goal, brilliant! Just fantastic by Nicola Barella. And he does it! And Italy are champions of Europe! Forza Italia!
Ciao ragazzi, and welcome to another edition of Serie A Sitdown, World Football Index's podcast for your Calcio to go. I'm Frank Ravello. Boomer Sooner, Richard Carmen.
Hello, Boomer. How are you?
Rocking the Oklahoma hat tonight.
Yeah, I just grabbed the first hat I found, so it is what it is.
So I just got one of my Adidas golf hats, just dying to get. It is like my golf league starts on Monday, and you'd never know it with the weather we've been having here. It's just wet. Can't get outside to do anything right now. It's just nuts.
Same here. It was so beautiful this weekend, and then all of a sudden today we had sleet yesterday, and yesterday was freezing too. I mean, it's who knows? Can't figure.
We had snow between Sunday night and Monday.
Yeah, Maryland got a lot of snow as well. So
this is crazy. Ricky's in the house. You know why?
Yeah.
These guys only show up when these Inter guys. Some of these Inter guys only show up when they win the derby.
Smart.
So,
they're smart.
It's like when Napoli go top of the table, Rafa shows up. So that's like been once. That's like been once in like the last 40 years, right? But so
that would explain why we never have Salernitana fans in here.
That's probably why. I've yet to meet a Salernitana fan too. That probably has something to do with it, but nonetheless. So, how you been?
Good. A lot of Calcio this weekend. It's funny because we got teams vying for the top spot in the league, number one position, and we had 12 teams scoring only one goal this past weekend. So everyone's in a festive mood to be first place apparently. Yeah,
for sure. If you are watching us, please check in with us in the chat. Got any questions, drop them in the chat. We'll be happy to answer them. If you're watching us for the first time, please hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to the channel. Please hit the notification bell so that you can be notified when we are on the air or when we have special videos, when we have fan reactions, which we haven't had in a while. We probably need to get back on that.
Yeah,
at some point. I actually just did a fan reaction for Football Worldwide. Our friend Anthony down there in the Great Down Under, Australia. So, giving my take on what happened between Milan and Genoa, which I will share with everybody here shortly. So please get to that. And Ricky wants to know, is Napoli out of the race? It's going to be it's going to be what we lead off with. We've got a packed show for you, 75% capacity, as we do every week. We will talk about that Napoli-Roma game, Derby della Sud. We will talk about Milan and Inter's wins on Friday, as well as the Derby victory for Inter that sees them through to the Coppa Italia final. So we will have a dedicated segment on all things with the Milan clubs. We will talk about the rest of match week 33 and fit in the preview of Juventus and Fiorentina for Wednesday, second leg of the Coppa Italia semifinal there to determine who will play Inter. I think it's going to be Juve because the Italian dignitaries are going to go out of their way to have a Derby d'Italia Coppa Italia final. You know it. You just know it. So let's just not even. I say don't even waste any time with it tomorrow. If I'm Italiano, I just say screw it. Go ahead and go to the final. I'm going to fight and get this Europa League spot. And then we finish with the world's most popular hashtag game. Who won Calcio Twitter? So Richard, lead us off. Let's talk about Napoli. Dropped points again, and this time in the Derby della Sud against Roma.
Yeah, big game, Derby della Sud, Derby della Sole, whatever you want to call it. You call it both, obviously. Napoli hosting Roma in this one. This game would be at the Diego Armando Maradona, Napoli. Big game. Obviously, Roma making their push for the Champions League. Napoli trying to stay in the race for the Scudetto. A lot on the line for both teams in this one. Looking at the lineups first for the home team, Alex Moret in goal with Zanoli, Rahmani, Koulibaly, and Rui in defense. You got Anguissa, Lobotka, Ruiz, Lozano, and Insigne, all led by Victor Osimhen. You okay with a lot of pretty straight up lineup for Napoli in this one?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the midfield, probably the best possible midfield that Napoli could play, sans Zielinski,
Yeah.
who I think has been having a very good season. He came on as a substitute later on in this game, kind of a forced thing. It looked like Lobotka got hurt.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, I think that, Spalletti sets them up thinking, hey, I'm good with what I've got going forward. If I've got Insigne and Lozano causing some problems, Rui can come forward on the left-hand side. And I think that, knowing Mourinho, knowing that what he's got at his disposal from a counterattacking standpoint, I thought it was smart to go with Zambo, Lobotka, Fabian in midfield, three guys that can quickly, give you some balance and maybe diffuse any kind of counterattacking that Roma wanted to do, in particular in the first half. So I thought that was an impressive setup, on Spalletti's part. And yeah, I mean, the front three, no argument right now. Whether you start Lozano or whether you start Elmas or Politano or anybody like that, I think you're getting the same contribution. A Napoli fan certainly will be welcome to correct me on that, but I can't really separate those three guys on this season so far.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head with that midfield adjustment by Spalletti with Anguissa, Lobotka, and Fabian Ruiz there. Trying to, obviously Roma's one of their strengths is their midfield. They got a lot of midfield talent. They like to move the ball around very well in there, especially Mkhitaryan and Pellegrini in there. So having those three in there to clog up that middle and hopefully diffuse any kind of counter attack that Mourinho is going to try to play. I thought it was really well set up there by Spalletti. Looking over Mourinho's side, Rui Patricio on goal as always. Mancini, Smalling, and Ibanez and Karsdorp in the back with Oliveira, Cristante, the double pivot. Zalewski on the left-hand side, Pellegrini and Zaniolo, all led by Tammy Abraham. Really, it was a 3-4-1-2, I guess it is, with Abraham and Zaniolo leading the way. I'm liking this formation. It's obviously working for Roma. Roma's on a long unbeaten streak. Anybody that you would have inserted into the lineup as opposed to who was started by Mourinho?
Not really. I would have tried to find I can't argue with this lineup, but I might have, if I'm nitpicking, I would have tried to find a place for Mkhitaryan. But I think the idea was have him be involved as a substitute. As we've talked about managers doing this season, where players like that you think should play from the start because of the characteristics that they have and the quality that they offer should start, but you've seen managers with 5 substitutions at their disposal, use them in the last 30 to 35 minutes to have them fresh and running at tired legs instead. Pioli thought it was the way to go again today in the Coppa with Brahim Diaz and with Junior Messias. But in that sense, it didn't work out like it did in the derby, in the return leg, in the return match in the season. Right. So I could understand Mkhitaryan maybe starting from the bench. You can't start everybody. And with Oliveira and Pellegrini together in that midfield, you've got the right blend of technique and being able to keep things composed for moments when Roma have to keep the ball. To be able to get it and hit the pinpoint passes, hit Zaniolo. I like that Zaniolo's higher, especially in positions where it can put a player like Mario Rui under pressure. I don't think Mario Rui is one of the better defensive fullbacks in this league. Certainly, and we've said this a ton about him, but we said it last week, but when we're talking about them against Fiorentina, offers a ton going forward, can be a little bit of a liability, when asked to defend for large periods of time. So I like the idea of Zaniolo there, put some pressure, makes Napoli think a little bit about Rui, getting too far forward, but I think it also neutralizes Koulibaly because he can't, put his attention on Abraham now. Now he's got to roam around a little bit more, and some of the man marking of Abraham is kind of that responsibility is over to Rachmani. So interesting way that Mourinho approached it.
Yeah, and I actually like the way that he set up the lineup too, because he has some speedsters at his disposal. Obviously, they're going to play in the counterattack. Hope to tire Napoli out with this kind of counterattack style, and then bring on even more speedsters on in the second half. You have guys like Afina Gian, Mkhitaryan, obviously El Shaarawy, Spinazzola if he wanted to. Obviously, he has the other guys under that he could bring in there. Eldor is another guy you can mention. So he has some speedsters that he could always bring on. So I guess the hope is, Mourinho does his normal style, play on the counterattack. Hopefully Napoli starts getting tired at the end of the game. You bring in some speedsters and really throw things in your advantage. And so we saw a lot of that in this game. This game started up. This game was very, very entertaining. Started out very quickly. And in fact, in the 11th minute or so, Lozano goes down in the box. Ibanez takes him down. Many people were saying, it was a dive by Lozano, but upon replay, and then they went to VAR with this, clearly a foul. Ibanez gets the ankle of Lozano. I mean, it's clear-cut call right there. I'm completely fine with that call there. And how are you? Are you a total agreement with that? 50-50?
No argument for me. No, that was a good reversal. Good use of VAR there.
Yeah, absolutely. So penalty called. Of course, Lorenzo Insigne is going to step up. He's been making them as of late. He buried this one. Rui Patricio guessed right, but still missed it. Really well struck there by the captain. So 1-0. Napoli takes the lead up there early. Things started to get chippier and chippier as the game went on. This game went. Napoli had a fair bit of opportunities in this game. Roma had some decent opportunities as well. It was exactly what you expected, right? Possession by Roma, creating their opportunities as they always are, and Roma kind of living off the counterattack in this one. Cristante would pick up a yellow card in the 17th minute or so. Koulibaly would get a yellow before the half was even done. Overall, first half 1-0. I mean, obviously the noteworthy thing is Cristante. He would come off, Mkhitaryan and come on. Possible injury there. But overall assessment of the first half, obviously the early goal for Napoli is good for them, and especially when they want to control things, have the game go their way, makes Roma have to come out of their shell a little bit, with the early goal. Thoughts overall in the first half by both teams? How you thought it fared?
I edged to Napoli, and I think the score was appropriate. Just kind of looking at the statistics from it too in the first half. I mean, not a lot of chances. I think they both were effective in canceling each other out. I think Napoli created
Missed
a little
shots,
bit.
big time. Missed shots a lot.
Napoli created a little bit more. They had a little bit more of the ball. I think that's what the script was going to be when you look at it. So I thought that it was, Napoli played the half that they wanted to play, got the goal, got the advantage. I think that, Mourinho goes in there with the idea that let's control the damage and then see if we can work some more skilled players into the game and take our chances and win the game. I do want to make I do want to come back to the lineups and the team news just real quickly. I just want to say, how awesome is it to see Leonardo Spinazzola's name, even on the substitutes bench. Good to see that he is that is a positive sign. For Roma, for Italy too, and just was a dynamic player before that awful injury in the Euros against Belgium. So good to see him back too.
Yeah, arguably one of the best players in that tournament for the Azzurri. Big reason why they went so far in the European Championships. But yeah, so we had the substitution at halftime. Obviously, Cristante comes off, Mkhitaryan comes on. Hope to add a little more spice to their offense there. It wasn't until about the hour mark things really started to get spicy. So Zaniolo, a great play over the top. I think Mkhitaryan may have made the pass, actually. Goes over the top. He goes on 1-on-1 against Meret. Zaniolo goes down in the box. They're claiming for a penalty. Upon further review, they said, nope, Meret got the ball first. No penalty. Yeah. The backup goalkeeper, or the third keeper, whatever hell he is, he gets a red card for yelling at the referee from the sidelines. Got really feisty there. Thoughts on the call? Are you good with the non-call? What were your thoughts on that play there?
I'm good with it, and I think that the fallout was just aggravation from Roma players, because I thought as the second half was unfolding, I thought they were starting as a team, in terms of the performance, I thought they were starting to get more and more of a grip on this game. And, okay, so you're not getting the clear-cut opportunities. You're not getting yourself the goal that you probably deserve. So find a way to push the referee into a decision that you probably shouldn't get. But nonetheless, it was Daniel Fusato.
Fusato, yes.
Yep. Who, I would not even know who the hell that guy was until he got sent off. So. Probably going to be really good in the future. We'll see. But, no problem. And just like I said, fallout was just aggravation from the Roma bench.
We talked about how the penalty earlier in the game where Ibanez fouled Lozano. Well, a similar situation happened also later in the second half where same thing happened again. Lozano goes down. Ibanez is the culprit. This time it looked like a dive. I think it was a dive in this one.
Yeah.
Tempers got flared. There are a couple yellow cards going there. You could have gotten even more yellow cards. Sergio Oliveira was involved. Insigne was involved. Several guys involved in both teams. Started looking like a derby at that point. It was getting really feisty at that point. Guys really going at each other. Good to see in a derby. You want to see guys going after each other, right?
Yes.
But I think it was a good non-call on that too. I thought it was certainly more of a dive. It looked like he was going for the foul or going for try to go down in the box as opposed to actually being fouled like in the first part of the game. You good with that call?
What's that?
You good with the non-penalty call?
Yeah, no, good with the non-penalty call.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was actually looking at the substitution patterns as you were talking about that.
Yeah, a lot of substitutions. I mean, just look at some of the substitutions that came on. You had Verdi came on, Carlos Perez, Finnegian came on late. Obviously, Mkhitaryan came on at halftime, and El Shaarawy came on late. Big impacts, all those, I think, in the game, the second half. You see Roma starting to push for that equalizer, had to start creating more opportunities. Tammy Abraham, had they not tied this game, I think it would have been having nightmares because of the miss he had, wide open front of goal, and just missed times the header. And easy save from Moret.
Sure.
Napoli still creating some chances, but going both ways. But Roma pushing finally late in the game. One of the goal of the week candidates here. A wonderful team goal by Roma. I mean, I think 7-8 players touched this ball before it went at the back of the net. And some beautiful passing going on, feints and this and that. El Shaarawy ends up getting the ball in the back in the 95th, 92nd minute, or something. It was late in the game. Ties it late. Gut punch for Napoli. I mean, not that they were playing like stupendous in this game, but in their hopes of winning the Scudetto there, they dropped 2 big points to Roma. Big points for Roma, too, to not lose in this one. But 1-1. Roma get a late goal. First, how beautiful was that goal, Frank? I mean, I love team goals. I know you love team goals, too. That was pretty good by Roma there.
It was interesting. Bonetti got so excited about the extra pass by Abraham. I think this is just brilliant reading of the game by Lorenzo Pellegrini. Let's talk about Kalidou Koulibaly, because I think what I say about him will make this a little bit more clear. Okay, so we all hold Koulibaly in extremely high regard. We think he's probably one of the 3 best defenders in the world right now. Where you Virgil van Dijk, okay, fine. As much as I like to jab Liverpool fans, I agree. Just stop comparing him to Maldini and Nesta. He's not Maldini and Nesta. And I can't remember the other defender that I would probably put in that conversation. But nonetheless, Koulibaly is a center back, but he plays the position like a sweeper. If you go the old traditional sweeper formations, and there's 5 roles to a sweeper. Okay, you organize the defense, you provide support, you pick up the free man, you win the free ball, and then you distribute and start the attack when you win it. Those are when you play sweeper, those are your main 5 functions. So, and Koulibaly does all 5 of those. Okay, but because he does all 5 of those, and because he plays center back like a sweeper, it can get him in trouble at times. So what happens? Pellegrini makes a darting run. Koulibaly pick up the free man. All right. And Pellegrini knows that Koulibaly's coming. So the run takes Koulibaly out of position. Okay. Out of his responsibility to support Romani, who's dealing with Abraham.
Yep.
All right. And then knows that Koulibaly's coming. So he has the presence of mind. Okay, I've got 1 touch here. All right, and I better deliver it. Does so. Koulibaly's now out of the play. The best Napoli defender is out of the play. He's away from the ball. And then they move it, and then they get it over to the open player, and El Shaarawy and scores the goal. If Pellegrini takes an extra touch to prepare the ball, that goal doesn't happen. Okay, but the fact that he made that run, it draws out Koulibaly, and then he plays it over and across, taking advantage of Koulibaly's tendencies to be over-aggressive and play that position like a sweeper.
Yep.
led to that goal. And the reading of the game by Pellegrini was absolutely brilliant. It led to what would be the tying goal for Roma.
Yeah, and it's rare that Koulibaly makes these kind of mistakes, big mistakes in a game like that, like he did in this play. Like you mentioned how good he is and playing that kind of sweeper role. You know, in terms of talent, in terms of complete player, he might be the most complete player in the league just because how well he plays defensively and then can do things with the ball at his feet, right? And he can hit the ball. He's a really great player overall. But his aggressiveness on this play, his trying to do too much, cost him to be out of position, like you mentioned, and then Pellegrini, being the smart captain as he is, drew him away and set up the whole play there. And good for Roma get that tying goal. It was coming for a while, and I know Mourinho and the team are happy. They were celebrating on the bus back home. I know that, but two big drop points for Napoli in this one. I thought Napoli played decent. They just missed plenty of opportunities. Osimhen was in and around, but high shots, wide shots, not clinical enough as a team that you want, a team with aspirations to win a Scudetto. You got to put those chances away. The other teams in the race are going to be trying to put their chances away, and you need to do this. And especially a team as good as Roma are, if you don't capitalize, their counterattack is deadly, and they're going to get you eventually, which they did in this game. And so Napoli going to be kicking themselves that they could have done everything they wanted, but didn't score the goals, and that's what ultimately cost them the game.
I'll disagree with you. I think the team that probably is going to be kicking themselves here is Roma.
Well,
I think if you give this game, if you let this game go for 5 more minutes, Roma win the game.
I agree. I agree.
And then going back to that goal, I think another reason why Koulibaly is kind of forced to deal with Pellegrini there because Rui is way out of position. So there's no connection with that back four. So in a sense, because of some of the irresponsibility of other players around him, Koulibaly practically has to play that way. And maybe it's the other players around him that know that Koulibaly is going to do this, that they can get away with it too. So it's just it's a strange thing there with Napoli. I'd love to ask the Napoli guys this and see what they say, what their feelings. Is it they rely on Koulibaly to just cover everything, that they can get away with being disconnected, or is it or is it, do you want to see them play more defensive and connected in those certain situations? So me personally, I want my left back in that position where Pellegrini ran. So I don't care who my center back is.
Yeah. And ultimately, a lot of people ball watching on that play, on that goal too.
Yes.
Moret's out of position. Everyone's pretty much out of position on that goal there. El Shaarawy wide open and had all the time in the world to try to place it exactly where he wanted, and he put it past Moret. So yeah, a good result for Roma. They're pushed for the Champions League spot remains. I mean, obviously they got to get past Juve still, but they're only 4 or 5 points away now. It's not terrible. I mean, obviously they need to get some wins here at the end, but a big game like this, and now Napoli dropped big points obviously after the results for Milan and Inter this weekend. They're now 4 points behind Milan and 2 behind Inter. Is it, going back to what Ricky said, is Napoli out of the race? I pose the question to you.
Yes, because I see dropped points coming against Sassuolo and then at Torino, which is going to take them further back. And we talked about this last week. We called this. We said Napoli is going to be the first to fall out of this.
Yeah.
Like I said, they probably should. Okay, they were the better team in the first half, but we can poke holes at that performance. It wasn't like they were dominant.
No.
And in the second half, Roma made the adjustments. I think Mourinho made some excellent adjustments. Some of Spalletti's adjustments were forced because of injury. He had to take Lobotka out, and then you bring on Zielinski, characteristically 2 completely different guys.
Yeah.
But you lose some of that ability to protect the back four. When you take Lobotka out of the game and you have to sub him with Zielinski, because that's just about all you have in midfield. Where the hell was I going with this? But anyway, I think that Mourinho got it right because he was able to. A couple injuries forced his hand. There's a couple of injuries that forced Spalletti's hand, but in terms of the substitutions and the adjustments, Mourinho got it right. And like we say, give them a few more minutes, Roma probably wins this game. But the golden opportunity that they miss out on is that they now are 5 back of Juve for 4th spot instead of 3.
Yeah.
But we called it last week. We thought Napoli would be the first team to start falling out of this race. And with this draw, they did. I think that they will beat Empoli on Sunday. I think Lisi appropriately said Empoli is on the beach already. Really have nothing left to play for. They're probably like, yeah, we're good. We've so I expect Napoli to thrash them and, maybe give Napoli supporters a pulse. But I see dropped points at home to Sassuolo, and I see dropped points at Torino in Napoli's future, which will take them out of the race.
Yeah, I mean, I think 4 points back of Milan at the moment. Not that Milan are flawless at this point at any stretch, but I think of the three teams, Inter have the least to lose. Really, I think they're playing the most carefree, and because of that, the best football. Potentially going down the stretch here, and a lot of pressures on Milan to hold the top spot, a lot of pressure on Napoli to try to catch up to them and be perfect. And you can easily drop points that way. Obviously, Napoli's already dropped points. Milan's dropped points already, a couple games ago, and so we'll see. We'll talk about the Sunday coming up after this derby that we're going to get to in a minute. But Inter are going to put pressure big time now, and so I think, like you said, Napoli's going to be the first one out. And now the real question is, what happens in Milan now? How is their mentality now after the game today? So, a lot to play for still, and we'll see if Juve can hold on to that Champions League spot. But a lot of credit's got to go to this game, and for Roma to Mourinho, right? What is it? 12 games unbeaten now for them. I mean, they're really, really believing in what he's trying to bring to the team and what he's trying to express and how he wants the team to play, and they're buying into it. They're playing this counterattacking type style. They take their chances when they have it. I mean, Mourinho's setting them up defensively really, really well. This is not the Roma team we've seen in the past, right? Where they're gaping holes in the back, scoring goals, 2-3 goals a game against. Mourinho's changed his team. It's taken a while. We said it was going to take all season, and it has. But they're humming now. They're one of the best teams in terms of unbeaten streak, I should say, this year. So Mourinho's really got them playing the way he wants, just about.
The points aren't there to show for it, but against the Seven Sisters, the performances have been much better.
Yeah.
And for me, Roma, you won't have Roma to kick around anymore. You're gonna have to find somebody. I mean, right now, that's it. Your new whipping boy out of these seven is Atalanta. At the rate things are going, we'll talk about them here in a little while. But yeah, I mean, on the flip side, you got that. So, on the one end, Napoli falling out of the title race. I kind of side with some Napoli guys who are on Twitter saying there goes the Scudetto. But also Roma, this was a huge chance for them to seize it. And boy, what a great 3 points this would have been for them, in their attempt to make a late charge and overtake Juve for fourth.
Yeah.
And I'm cheering for it to happen because I picked Roma to finish fourth over Juve. So I'm probably going to come up a little bit short on that call, but nonetheless. Dominic asking, of the four, Milan, Inter, Napoli, Juve, who has returning players that can change the course for the remaining games? Well, I have to say Inter's probably the best equipped out of the four.
Yep. Obviously, Gostin's back now, and he's scored a goal today. That helps.
Yeah, for sure. I think that what they did such a good job of, because we talked about it, and he said, at some point a dip is coming, and they're going to have some adversity because they just seem like they skated through, the first half plus of the season. And then they had that adversity, and it was such short-lived. It's like they managed it and got through it. And there's sometimes you do that and you get right back on track, or there's sometimes where that just lives with you and you can't get it back. And, I think that Inzaghi has just managed this team smartly. They're playing efficient football. They're not, we can segue now into the Milan teams. And we can talk about the Coppa in the process here, Richard. They're not running riot. I had to disagree respectfully with somebody on Twitter who said Inter are running riot today. I said
no. It wasn't Liverpool United. That was a riot.
44% possession and 8 shots isn't running riot. Okay, 44% possession and 8 shots is you're really damn efficient.
Clinical.
And clinical and scored 3 goals. That's not running riot. Running riot to me is you just you bossed every aspect of the game. You possessed it 75% of the time. When you lost it, you pressed them and won it back. You shot it 25 times. You had 12 shots on target. You won. You put up 4 or 5 goals. To me, that's running riot. This is an efficient Inter.
Yeah.
And it fits when you look at Inzaghi's Lazio teams. If he's in his comfort zone. This is the stream he wants to swim in. This is how Lazio were so good under him. They were efficient. They didn't blow anybody away with the way they played. And that's what happened here in the Coppa against Milan. They absorbed what Milan threw at them, and they came down the other way. They scored on what's been an impenetrable defense. When you take a look at it, and certain people that get paid to talk about this were saying that Tomori and Kalulu and mine and those that great defense didn't show up. I'm going to disagree with that. I think they were there. I thought Milan played all right. I thought defensively they played all right. I said sometimes you got to look at the goals that get scored and you just got to say, hey, well done.
And so I'm going to say a couple players ran right for me, like Lautaro Martinez.
Well, Lautaro was excellent. Lautaro was the best player on the pitch, and so was Brozovic.
I thought of the three, the back three of Milan, if you include Magnon and Tomori and Kalulu, Tomori probably had the most off game, and he really gave Martinez way too much space on both the goals.
He looked labored.
He did.
In the second half. He looked like he was struggling when he was running.
Yeah, and the second goal that Martinez scored, that Martinez played that brilliantly, the offside trap. Tomori was slow on the offside push, but Martinez took a gamble and he paid off immensely, finished it off perfectly. So you really can't blame the defense on there. It could have been a faster trap, but that first goal, too much space. You're giving the guy like him, who's a streaky player. We know when he's hot, and when he's off, he's off. He's scored recently in Europe. He's been scoring as of late. He's on a hot streak now. There's 2 goals here in a big game here. So beautiful finish by him in for his first goal. So, Tomori was off. Kalulu, it wasn't his greatest game, but he wasn't bad. And Magnon made some big saves. And that third goal was just well done by Inter. And Goslin's putting it away. Maybe Kalulu put it away, but either way, well done. Inter deserves this game. They were efficient. They're clinical.
It's good that Gosling scored, but as a Milan fan, I almost dismissed the third goal as you're pressing and you're trying to get something and you're trying to find a way back in the game and you're committing so much, you're playing so high, and that they just catch you. And, and that's the consequence of playing that way, trying to get back in it. So
honestly, the only player for Inter who probably didn't play well, maybe Handanovic, I guess, but Çalhanoğlu. But other than that, they all pretty much played very well. Darmian looked like they were missing Denzel. Yeah, Dumfries, because he was playing really. That cross to Lautaro for the first goal was really well done. So
yeah,
Inter, like you said, efficient. They were clinical. They took their chances very well, and Milan did not. That's why they didn't have any goals. Dominic asked the question: who are people that are coming back? That Inter probably have some guys that'll help them going forward. Milan has like Chiar, but their defense is pretty solid. Wouldn't know it from this game, but
right.
No Zlatan. Who else is going to come on that's going to help them? No one. Napoli's pretty much got all their guys. Juve is going to have some midfielders coming in that might help them, but it's pretty much a stalemate. But in terms of this game, I think Inter just were the better team. It doesn't mean that they are the best team in the league, which they probably are, but it's one result, and then this game in particular, they were the better team. People want to say there were some penalties that could have been called, this and that. I was fine with all the calls in the game, honestly. I do want to talk about the goal that Milan scored that got taken away, because I think we'll probably have some disagreement there. I know majority of Milan Twitter say that should have been a no goal, or should have been a goal. Excuse me, should have been a goal. I agree with that. It is 100% a stupid penalty or stupid foul in the book. I agree about the 100%. It's stupid. It doesn't affect the play, but by letter of the law, it's technically correct call. And I've seen it called many times. I hate the call. It needs to be thrown out of the book, but it was correct in my opinion. I know you're going to disagree, right?
Initially, yes. Well, no. At the time that it happened, and then the first, 15 minutes or so afterward, yes, I would have disagreed with you. But I have since walked that back, and now I agree, because one of the I wanted to do is like, all right, I better just kind of go through the laws of the game and read it and
take the emotions out of it.
read the offside law, just kind of detach. Okay, fine. As a fan, I'm pissed off, but let me try to, get objective here. And there is a bullet point. They list the various offside offenses, and it's right there: preventing an opponent from playing or being able to play the ball by clearly obstructing the opponent's line of vision.
Yep.
Okay. And that was the interpretation that VAR used. Was Kalulu trying to recover and get back on side? Yes. You can sit there and say, what else is Kalulu supposed to do?
Yep.
You could make the argument that if he ran, the problem is so he runs centrally. Okay, so he's offside because he's obstructing the line of vision of, in this case, Handanovic, and that law would apply if Handanovic wasn't back there. Say he was even with everybody else, and that it was just another defender back there.
Right.
That same rule would apply in the strictest definition. So now that I've cooled off and I understand this rule better. Okay, now. And then Michael said, well, he should have zigged instead of zagged. Well, he zagged. If he zigged, he's zigging into the path of the shot, and he's going to be in an offside position in that sense. So I don't know, regardless of where Kalulu could have ran there, I think that was going to get, it would have gotten called back.
If you want to get technical, I think it was a slightly lazy play, and obviously he doesn't know the goal is going to happen. So like once that play gets cleared out, he needs to clear back into onside position, which he does, and takes his time. Him and Giroud, both of them, by the way. And then all of a sudden, Benacer does really well to kick it back in. He's already in offside position anyway, so he screws himself at that point. So I hate the rule, but it's correct, unfortunately.
At the same time, you've got to avoid the mental break there.
Yep.
So, if we really, really want to get critical. So Handanovic was frozen regardless. Kalulu was just an excuse. There is a still where shows that Handanovic sees the shot. They showed that several minutes later. So you can, and I get it, Dominic, and I know, and that sort of thing. But initially I was angry that the goal was disallowed mainly because in terms of the spectacle of the game,
it would have made
that's 2-1 at that point, and you have a completely different game, than what we're talking about. So
we off the Messias and Salamaker's kick, or definitely Salamaker's. We already off that, but Messias, we don't that too.
I said it on Twitter. I said, great story, but the novelty has long worn off. It really has. And I think that if there's a future here for Milan, it's got to, and if they're trying to reach the certain heights, I think it's time to be done taking their chances on players like Messias and thinking that it's the wrong, it's the wrong beach to pan for gold, let's say. All right. For a lack of a better comparison. So that's really what, that's really the long and the short of it. I think it's been fun. It was a heck of a story to see him score in the Champions League. No question about it, but, it's time to move on. It's time to get serious. And if Milan are trying to get a long-term project in place, Messias might have been a holdover and might have been a rental, but now it's time to go and find the guy that's going to play on that right-hand side. Salamakers is a wingback. Okay. And where you see, and we've said it week after week after week after week, can he defend and cover and support and run? He does all of the energy things. He does the stuff that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. But his shortcomings as an attacking player and as a finisher in a position where you need to provide some creativity, you need to provide some chance creation for your teammates, and you need to be able to finish. He lacks big time in all of those areas. And I think that it's time that Milan look to someone more dynamic for that position.
So this obviously it's a Coppa Italia semifinal, and obviously Inter are going to go to the finals now, more than likely against Inter, but Juve or Fiorentina. We'll see. But what I want to ask is, what does it do with the mentality of both these clubs, right? Inter got to be feeling like on top of the world now. They beat their rivals who are just ahead of them in the league table. That they got to be confident now going to the stretch. The question is, what is Milan thinking now going into Sunday? you got to win this past weekend against Genoa, but you just lost a big game in a derby. It's Coppa Italia, but it's a big game against your rivals. You lost pretty handedly, 3-0. Where does it happen? Where do they go from? Do they show up and blow the next opponent out of the water, or do they fold? Do they get out of the race in this?
I hardly think they fold. Okay, now if I'm in that dressing room, okay, and I'm also 47 years old, so I've got to try to pretend I'm like one of the 20-somethings in that dressing room. I need the leaders of the team to tell me that's a completely different competition. We're done with that. The league is all we got. We're all in. Let's be fully concentrated on that now and fully concentrated to turn in the performances and the results that are going to get us over the finish line as champions. So the good professionals in this sport are going to quickly detach from what happened today and turn their attention to the rest of the league schedule, which they are still in first. Mm-hmm. Okay. And as good as as efficient as Inter was today, let's just say they were efficient. They were very, very good. And I thought Milan were decent. I think they passed up a lot of chances that I wish they would have taken some chances at. I think there were some things that were forced. I can't remember who it was that forced it. It might have been Teo that forced a shot, but Brahim was wide open.
Yeah.
Nicholas, good to see you. Thanks for joining. So I just, I say, detach. And Inter's going to do the same thing. Said, all right, that's done. We don't have that until after the league is over with. This is not even a priority right now. All that's left is all these games in front of us, these league games in front of us, and trying to overtake Milan, winning a second straight Scudetto.
Having Chiara coming back is going to be huge because he's going to be able to be that guy to do that.
Yes, I agree. The professionalism is there in the dressing room for Milan. Now, if you're talking about the Milan of 3 years ago in this situation, they fold.
Season's done.
Yeah, they fold. But I think there's enough maturity there now to know, okay, okay, that's done. Can't do anything about that anymore. Our focus is these last 5 games and grabbing all the points we can. It sounds cliche, but Milan have 5 finals. Inter have 6 finals before a Coppa final. So, and it's got to be a game by game approach.
Milan's at Lazio, which has been a thorn in their side. Obviously, Joaquin Correa is no longer there, but they still have Ciro Immobile and Sergej Milinkovic-Savic and so many other guys. So it's going to be a big game for them. And then on the flip side, right, Inter are riding high at the moment. Oh, look at the way they got Mourinho coming up. Is this a trap game for them? Can Roma get one on Inter? Inter are flying high. Their confidence is full, but it's Mourinho. If anyone's going to be able to stop this train, is it going to be them? Is it going to be him?
It's going to be a game of 2 teams that are going to fight over who wants the ball, and it's going to be a fight in the sense of, no, you take it. No, you take it. I mean, because they're both comfortable letting the other team have it like 55, 56% of the time and being able to break on them. I expect Mourinho to cede the possession, and I expect Inter to be the team to have it a little bit more. And this is where there's potential for Inter to drop some points. First of all, letdown game if Inter allows it to happen after winning a derby. Okay, Roma just rescued a point in a derby away at Napoli, so they're going to be able to play with a lot of confidence, coming into this game, and they're not going to play with a lot of fear. So Inter have really been in control of that rivalry over the last 3 games, though. They've beaten Roma by a combined, looks like 8-1, including the Coppa. And in that Coppa game, which was the most recent, Inter had more of the possession and made use of the chances. Okay, it was also a Roma team that, basically had the same guys. I mean, they had. They went with Mkhitaryan, Abraham, Zaniolo. They didn't play Pellegrini at the time. They didn't, they played Verdi. So we'll see what Mourinho does if he shuffles that a little bit. But the system's going to be relatively the same. He's not going to deviate from that. Inter, Inter's going to do the same thing. I see Inter getting more of the ball. Can Roma, get them on the break? And in order to do that, they're going to have to find those spaces between the wingbacks and the outside guys in the back three. So I could very well see Mkhitaryan maybe playing from the start and exploiting that. And guys that can play and exploit that, John, and I will have to see if Zaniolo is going to be fit. It's going to be, it's going to be a hell of a game. And then Milan going to Lazio, Milan have been so good against the better teams in this league this year,
and on the road, and really good.
Every single time Milan fans are down on Pioli and they're down on this team, they come in. The next match always seems to be a game in an environment like this. And what do? They find a way to win. They manage their way through it and they find a way to win. And I think that Milan win on Sunday at Lazio. I think it's going to be tight. They're going to win 2-1. I think they're going to score goals. I think this Lazio defense has some issues still. And I think you can get at them. They're not as airtight as some of the ones that Milan have seen. And then I think that that Inter-Roma game, I want to say that Roma gets something out of it. I really want to as a Milan fan, but I think Inter are going to it's going to be a really ugly game. Someone's getting sent off in that Inter-Roma game. I can't tell you who, but a sending off is coming. And I'm going to just, for now, I'm just going to just ever so slightly edge Inter. It's not going to be pretty. They're going to be very disappointing, but they're going to find a way to scratch out a 1-0 win. Where are you at with those games?
I agree. I think the way Milan plays against good teams and how they play on the road, I think they will it'll eke out a 1-goal victory, probably like a 2-1 against Lazio. I'm going to go maybe just a homer call on me, but I say Mourinho shocks Inter.
Okay.
Catches him.
And I would not be surprised if it happened. I really wouldn't. The way Roma have been playing under Mourinho.
Inter can't afford to drop points. They have the Scudetto in their hands. If they win out, they won. Because they're within 2 points and they have the game in hand. So it'll be a big game. We'll see what happens here. But it'll be an interesting game for sure. Games.
The interesting thing here, though, is that I think Inter's schedule have gotten a little tougher than people want to believe.
Sure. I don't think it's as tough as Milan and Napoli, but yeah, it is tough.
No, I agree. They got to go to Bologna on the 27th, and Bologna have been playing much better. And this will be the third game in 8 days, for Inter, and then they've got to go to Udinese, who Udinese have not been easy on anybody, and they've been playing really inspired lately. So this is a very tough stretch for Inter. It eases up big time at hosting Empoli, going to get a Cagliari that are really fighting to get out of the bottom three, and you're going to have a Sampdoria that are going to be trying to fight to avoid the drop too. At the rate this is all going. So Inter's run-in is not as easy as people think. Now, Milan, they're all top half sides that they've got left. So they're going to be motivated. And I think as a Milan fan, you want this. I mean, if Milan are good against the better teams and are getting their points against the better teams, and they just kind of slag off against then this is the fixture list you want, right? It's the fixture list I want. If Milan are title worthy, they get through this stretch with more points than Inter at the end. They get it done against this stretch of games, this slate at Lazio, hosting Fiorentina, at Verona, hosting Atalanta, at Sassuolo. Okay. And Sassuolo, who have been a bogey team to them through the years, if it has to come down to the last day, you go and you beat the bogey team, or else you don't deserve to be champions. It's the way I see it. So. It's
gonna be interesting if let's play a hypothetical here. Milan wins out, Inter win out, right? And Inter just win the title by 2 points. Milan are going to be kicking themselves because they beat all the teams they had to beat in terms of the good teams. Yeah. They lost points against teams they should have won that they didn't. That's going to be kicking them at the end of the season. So, but we'll see. It's a lot to play for here. A lot of games left in a short amount of time here. So anything can happen here.
But I argue Inter stretch is tougher than people think, especially these next 3 games for them. So, we'll see what happens.
So Juve to win Scudetto. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, on the field for both teams in their matches, Richard was on Friday, just kind of quick walking back to their league games. I thought rather comfortable for both teams. I mean, more so Inter. They had 23 shots against Spezia. Milan didn't have as many chances against Genoa, but they also weren't terribly troubled either. Over the course of the game, they got that goal that settled the nerves. Leao, goal of the week candidate, great cross from Kalulu. Thank God that Calabria got mud butt before the game, or had the shits or whatever it was, that he got scratched late. It was like stomach problems. I guess he shit his pants. Just say it. He shit his pants. That's what happened.
Yeah.
So
Happened in
he doesn't want to, and he's too embarrassed to go out there. That's fine. It's cool. He was back out there today. So
himself.
But anyway, Kalulu with the so that moved Kalulu over to the right and enabled him to get that wonderful assist. And then Messias with a kind of a cleanup goal there in the end, to seal it for Milan. Inter just rolled. I mean, we got 3 goals in that game that are all goal of the week candidates. Brozovic's brilliant goal, Lautaro's flick, Maggiori's goal was wonderful too.
Yes,
so
it was.
Where it got kind of interesting, for Spezia. So, but comfortable wins on Friday for both title contenders. Inter more so than Milan.
Agreed.
And how about for the rest of it, Richard?
All right. Let's see.
Cruising
Cagliari
today,
beat
man. Sassuolo,
goal by Deola, in the 42nd minute. Cagliari get big points against Sassuolo at home. Sampdoria at home drop big points. Salernitana goal scoring started early by Federico Fazio. You knew you were going to lose at that point when Fazio scores on you. He scores in the 4th minute.
How about that, though? Federico Fazio and Alessandro Daiola, like 2 of the most awful players to watch in this league, go out and do something right for their teams.
Right.
Yep.
2 minutes later, Ederson with a great run on the left-hand side gets a goal. 2-0 Salernitana within the first 10 minutes of the game. What the hell's going on? Caputo pulls them back in the 32nd. Not enough. Sampdoria dropped big points to Salernitana. Udinese, you mentioned earlier, who are playing really well. 4-1 winners against Empoli. Goals by Ismaili. It was an own goal in the 6th minute. Delofeo got a nice goal in the 52nd, 79th Pusetto, and then Samarcic in the 87th minute. Pinamonte got a penalty goal in the 70th minute, but obviously all Udinese all the time in this one. Fiorentina Venezia is a very, very tight game. Luca Torreira got a cleanup goal in the box in the 30th minute. But I mean, this game was pretty tight. Fiorentina would obviously want to have this open kind of game, but Venezia, fighting for their lives here, made it very difficult for Fiorentina. Another game that was difficult, Bologna on the road at Juventus. Arnautovic scoring a beautiful goal in the 52nd minute, making 1-0, giving Juventus palpitations. But in the 95th minute, Morata doing some great work with a bicycle kick, overhead kick. Looked like it was going on goal, but Vlahovic kind of scoops it up off the 2-inch line, gets a goal there. 1-1. Juve steals some points in that game. Lazio and Torino, talking about a stealing game late. Pietro Pellegrini scores a goal in the 56th minute. First goal in like 5 years in Serie A for him. So 1-0 Torino. Looks like they're going to win this game. And in stoppage time, a beautiful cross comes in the box over everybody. Milinkovic-Savic is over the top. Nobody read this right except for Ciro Immobile. Of course, King scores a goal. 1-1 in that game there. And then to round it out, Atalanta. I mean, talking about teams who hit a rough patch and could just stay on that rough patch. They lose to Hellas Verona. 2 goals. First Ceccarini in stoppage time in the first half, and then Koopmeiner's off his chest or face or whatever the heck it was. Great play by Hellas to kind of set that up between Tameze and who the heck was that? I forget who it was, but 2-0 at that point. Scalvini got a late goal, consolation goal in the 82nd minute, but all for naught. Hellas win on the road 2-1 at Atalanta. Crazy results in this weekend.
Yes. The Sampdoria Salernitana game, I mean, when you look at it statistically, it pretty much tells you Salernitana played football for about the first 6 minutes where they got their 2 goals, and then they told Sampdoria, here, you have the ball now.
Yep. Park the bus.
That's really what happened.
Yeah.
So that's what went on there. The refereeing incident with Gianluca Sacchi in the Juventus Bologna game, it was disturbing, might be the most polite way to put it. Did you see this?
I did not.
Did you see what led to the 2 sending offs for Bologna?
Well, yeah, I did. So Samato got a red card for his foul in the box. I didn't see it was
But it was a
warranted or red.
VAR review.
Yeah, I didn't see it
So
was a red. But
yeah, I
Medell,
mean,
I see why Medell got a red card because he was furious at the referee.
he clattered into Murata. Yeah, he clatters into. So Samaro clatters into Murata, kind of from behind, but kind of sideways. And
Yeah.
there's players around Murata. There's players around it for Bologna that are in support, and it's outside the box.
Yeah.
So you're wondering what the hell they're going to look at, what they're going to VAR for, because when you watch the film, I said, well, why are they going to VAR here? I said, there's no way that's a red card, but sure enough, that's what they did.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they were like double checking. I thought maybe they were double checking to see if it was an infraction that happened in the penalty area and they're going to call a penalty.
That's what I thought.
And I fully expected them to come out and say, okay, yeah, it was outside the box. It was a coming together kind of thing. It wasn't really malicious. Let's go down with it. But then you see the red card for Samaro, and you're like, whoa, how is that a red? How on earth is that a red?
Yeah.
Lisi made the point that it was at Udinese against Milan, and Udinese were doing that to, or it was in Bologna against Milan. They were doing that to Milan all day and not getting booked for it. Not even getting booked for it. So, and then Medell goes nuclear.
Yeah.
And Saki couldn't wait to give him a yellow card, and then he couldn't wait to send him off.
Medell's going to get some games. He touched the referee after the red card too. I don't know if you saw that, but he touched.
And did you see him as he came off? He's like pointing to his badge, and I couldn't translate, but I'm pretty sure it's because we're Bologna and we're not them. I swear to God, that's what he said. I mean, somebody will probably correct me about that, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But that's what I want to believe. So,
right. Yeah.
Probably easily the most atrocious refereeing decision of the season.
Yeah, that red for Samara was definitely not warranted. Medell deserved his, but I mean, it shouldn't have got to that point, right?
Yeah.
Why did Samara get a red?
And it's why I won't put the Vlahovic goal with the overhead kick assist by Murata in the goals of the week, because it shouldn't have even happened. But it's my goals of the week picks, and I get to pick what I want. So,
well, what are your top goals of the week then?
My top goals of the week? Okay. I am going with Samardzic at number 5 for Udinese. Honorable mentions to Alessandro Daiola and Federico Fazio, because you do need to shine a light on these guys when they do something right once in a while.
Yeah.
I mean, they're so bad, and they get it wrong, and they're regularly in our crap on a cracker teams. So nice to see that they both got on the score sheet.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Maggiori's goal number 4, Lautaro in at number 3, Leao number 2, Brozovic was my goal of the week.
Okay. Yeah, Maggiori is definitely a honorable mention for me as well. That was a really good goal by him. I want to cover yours. I am going to put in that Vlahovic Murata goal, mostly because what Murata did, the circumstances probably shouldn't have happened.
I mean, it's nice. I just on principle can't do
it.
Yeah,
fair enough. Brozovic's volley against Spezia comes in at number 4 for me. Leao's volley against Genoa comes in number 3. I'm going to go Martinez and Coppa Italia. I'm going to include that. Yes, that goal was a beautiful volley by him. That's number 2 for me. But number 1, I'm going to Roma, man. Team goal, 7-8 touches on that goal. End up leading to Osarawa getting the game time goal in stoppage time. I love team goals, and that was a beautiful team goal by Roma. So that's number 1 for me.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's do Juve Fiorentina, and then there's something we do need to track back to. But Juve Fiorentina at the J, Juventus have a 1-0 lead. Away goals do count here in this competition and over these 2 legs. So it's a precious away goal. It was an own goal for Fiorentina. I think this game, you see Fiorentina with a ton of the ball here. And I think that Juventus are going to be very comfortable to allow that to happen. Now, Juve don't counterattack. So, I mean, they don't counterattack as well as, say, Lazio or Roma or Inter. Nicholas wants Fiorentina 2-1. I don't blame you, Nicholas. I'd love to see Fiorentina win. I think that Fiorentina has been an amazing story this year. We thought Fiorentina would be this good. I picked them to finish sixth. They're sixth right now. I'm going to keep bragging about that.
Should.
As the team that breaks up the Seven Sisters. I was, everybody was like, I don't know. I was like, yeah, I'm doing it. We're putting them in there because I think they're going to get it done.
All right.
But I think that Juventus are going to shithouse this. I think it's going to be 1-1 tomorrow, and I think that that's going to get Juve the 2-1 win on aggregate and put them to the final against Inter.
I think Fiorentina are going to score the only goal in regulation, take it to extra time, and I think Juve will probably get a couple goals in extra time. Juve has the guys that can do that in extra time. I just think Fiorentina are going to get all out to try to equalize this thing, get it to extra stoppage time, and then they're not going to have any gas left. So I think Juve wins ultimately, but I think Fiorentina are going to get it to extra time. But I think Juve have too much firepower to be stopped, at least in this game, at least. So should be tight. It should be a tight game. The first game was very tight. The first two legs of the Coppa semifinals are pretty tight overall, and obviously we saw the second game for the derby today was fairly wide open, very entertaining. I don't expect the same tomorrow. I really don't.
Sure.
But we'll see. I think shithouse is the right term, I think, for Juventus in this one.
Sure. So that's our thoughts on the second semifinal here in the Coppa Italia between Juventus and Fiorentina. One thing that we wanted to talk about regarding the Milan clubs that we're going to track back to is Milan are in the news over ownership and a potential takeover by the Bahrain-based InvestCorp. In the amount of $1.1 billion is in the works. They're in exclusive talks. And if they're in exclusive talks, and if Elliott is confirming that they're in exclusive talks, that this is pretty close to being a reality, that there will be new owners at Milan. And let's be honest, if you have followed Milan closely and you follow them off the pitch and you follow all of the news and all of that other stuff, this was inevitable. Elliott was never really in it for the extended long term. They weren't going to have this 30-year Berlusconi period. They were in this to clean it up. They were basically in it to, they're just fixing the house, right?
Make some money. Fix the house and make some money.
Yep. They're taking the house, they're buying it, they're remodeling it, and then they're selling it.
They're flippers.
Yep, they're flippers. That's what I was looking for. They were flipping the house. Of Milan, and now it's flipped, and now they want to profit, and it looks like InvestCorp is going to 1.1 billion is the number that has been tossed around. So again, this shouldn't come as a surprise to Milan fans that Elliott are looking at this. I'm actually mildly surprised that Elliott has stayed this long, but it's coming, and if this happens, from what you've been reading, Richard, what do you think this means for Milan going forward?
I mean, this corporation, InvestCorp, whatever they're called, they are worth a lot of money, or $37-40 billion. So they're worth a lot, and so I expect cash injection to the team. Now, I'm troubled about this because part of me wants Elliott to be like, "Hey, you can come on, keep on Maldini." Elliott doesn't give a shit about Maldini or anything else. He just wants to make his money and get out of there. I don't want to take ownership of this team. But in an ideal world, the new owners come in with the idea that they're going to keep Maldini, keep things in place, and build off of that. What you likely see in these situations, that new owner comes in, they bring in whoever the hell they want because they want to win big or whatever. And so you could see a change in everything. And if that happens, who knows what the hell we're going to have. But I expect a lot more funds to be splashed out. Whether they're going to be right picks or not is going to be like that year where we got Bonucci and company, all those 11, the Furious 11, who the hell you want to call them, the end of the banter era, maybe. But I do expect more money to come in. This Bahrain group, I should say, they are known for doing good investments, and they've bought a lot of brands like Gucci and some other things like that. So it's not like they have no-name brands. It's not like Yonghong Lee. It's not that at all. And it's more similar to like an Arnault type situation where it's good investments. They believe in the global brand, not just the Bahrain. That's why what they are now makes so much money, because they left the Bahrain market and now they're global, and that's why they've kind of gone into a different realm there. So yeah, if it happens, I expect more money to be happening. What is it? Does it take Milan to the next level? I don't know, but I expect more money to be shelled out for players and stuff like that going forward, and we'll see if the management changes, meaning Maldini in particular, right? If Maldini leaves, then I don't know what's the direction we're going to go. If you keep Maldini, I have faith that it's going to get better and become back to a European power potentially.
I think a prospective buyer. I agree with you. I think they should, have an embrace of a club's history, as part of their as part of their vision, or in this case, a big part of their history is in-house now in Maldini. And I think they need to look at Maldini and Masada as very shrewd in terms of their ability to attract players to Milan. I think they need to look at them in their ability in what they've been able to do with the resources available to them. Now you're giving them more resources. What can they do with that? You're on mute.
I think Maldini can lure anybody to Milan. Yeah. It's just before they didn't have the funds to do it. Now they have funds. If you keep that, I agree.
Yeah, it's the recruiting power that someone like Paolo Maldini can bring, to Milan with the available funds. I think that's a curiosity to me. I would think that the smart buyers would look at who has been valuable to the project that's in place and retain them. I don't think that they would. The guy that would unfortunately have the shortest leash out of all of this would be Stefano Pioli.
Yeah,
he better be perfect to these new owners, or else, because they're going to be able to go and get whoever they want.
Yeah. I think if he doesn't win a Scudetto this year and they come in the off season, he may not be there in the next season,
and that would be a shame. Because I think Pioli deserves the opportunity, if he's given better players and there's a better project that can be coming along for Milan as a result of all of this, he deserves to have the chance to oversee it. He's proven himself. This is the place where he's been able to hang his hat. He's had a short shelf life everywhere else he's been, but here he's been able to push the right buttons. We've said it over and over again. Milan is not the most talented team in Italy. They're probably the 5th or 6th most talented team, but they're in first. And I think that you have to look at how the team is managed as a big component of why they're in first. So
Dominic asked the question, would you rather see a Rocco Commisso type or the Louis Vuitton guy, Arnaud, that I was mentioning? I would prefer Arnaud and the Louis Vuitton guy as opposed to Rocco Commisso, but that's just me. Who would you rather have, a Rocco Commisso type or a Louis Vuitton or even this Bahrain corporation type?
As long as the owners are going to be responsible and not careless with money, not careless with how they spend it, I don't give a shit. I don't. I mean, after what Milan went through with Rossonero Sport Luxembourg or whatever Young Hong Lee called himself, I don't want to see a return to that, because I think it would be a disaster, and it would be one that would set Milan back another 10 years, because in this instance, you do not have an Elliott that would be able to take over on a defaulted loan and clean it up and flip it the way they've been able to do. Yeah. I think that, and this might be a pretty hot take, but I think that in the long run, Elliott management is going to have to be looked at as a very important part of Milan's history, as the guys that stepped in and cleaned this up and put it in the position that it is in now, that you get somebody like InvestCorp on board to buy it and maybe take it to the next level. I don't want to see Elliott just as a minor footnote in the history of the club.
And many people are going to complain too that, Elliott never spent money in this and that, but they were never going to. They're here to clean up the shit that was and balance the books and then make them profitable again. And that's what they've done. So because of that, I agree. They should go down, assuming this ends well. But what they've done is, they brought in Maldini, which is a fan favorite, and together they've really turned the ship around, and now they're Scudetto contenders again. and so we'll see. It's a matter of time if they become European contenders again. We'll see. It's a long time from that, but.
If there wasn't, I'll just say this to any Milan supporter that wants to listen, and I'd like to hear what Stevie and Presidente and Vinny say about this. But I'm going to make the bold. I'm going to say this about them. If there's no Elliott, Milan is perennially a bottom half team. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know about surviving relegation. That I'm not willing to go to that extreme. My heart wouldn't take it, but. This would be a team middling in anywhere from 11th to 14th, maybe 15th place every season. So we need to be as Milan fans, we need to be appreciative of what Elliott means to this club.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
And the way they've rescued it from just some fiscal irresponsibility on the part of Yong-Hong Lee.
So here's a question: Has that new stadium deal between Inter and Milan been confirmed yet, or are they still in the process and then development stages? Because I asked that because new owners come in here, if it isn't confirmed yet, they may say, screw Inter. We have the money. We'll build our own stadium. We'll be separate, make money off of that.
I lost track.
Yeah, I don't know where it is at right now, and I have to ask Nima and some of the guys in the inn who know. But I mean, if it isn't confirmed yet, I can easily see a new owner come in who has money and say, screw it, I have money. We'll buy a new stadium, and we'll get all the money like Juve do, and other teams around the world that have their own stadium. So we'll see.
Right.
Keep an eye on it.
Right. Okay. So those are our thoughts on the possibility of InvestCorp taking over Milan, and it sounds like they want to do it pretty quickly. Because right now at 1.1 billion, they're trying to lock it in, and
didn't the Yong-Hong Lee thing take like 6 months too? It took forever.
What's that?
Didn't the Yong-Hong Lee buy take a long time too?
Yeah,
it didn't happen right away.
Yeah, it was the circumstances surrounding that were just all the way weird. But at the time, Milan fans were turning a blind eye to it. They were just saying, "Just get it done. We need fun. We need."
I was one of them.
Yeah, me too. I guess I'm smarter for it now. I don't want to see Milan get duped again.
Yeah.
So
fair.
Anyway, thank you, Anthony. Good to see Anthony. You're a little late. You're a little late today. Hopefully everything's all right with you. We usually see Anthony before we even get on. So
he's busy. Everyone has lives.
He's probably busy. It happens. We all get that way. So I've got my kids in soccer and baseball, both kids. So
okay, cool.
I know what it's like, and I'm like making spreadsheets of their schedules so that I can see where they're overlapping. so that I can make sure if I can't be there, then my wife is there, or vice versa.
Right.
So it's just bizarre.
Yeah.
So joys of having kids that are having hopes and dreams. That's the lesson to all of you new parents. Don't let your kids have hopes and dreams. You'll save a lot of money. Anyway, so how much do you guys think we will have to spend in the summer, Milan?
Not much unless they have new owners.
What's that?
It depends on the owners. If we
really
have
Elliott,
it's not going to be more than 50 mil, I would imagine. If it's new owners, your guess is as good as mine. 200.
I tell you what, you're going to see the likes of Real Madrid. If that's real, and Milan have a huge transfer budget to work with in the summer, you're going to see the likes of Real Madrid and Manchester City start locking up their transfer targets pretty quick before this takeover can happen.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. But okay. All right. Well, let us now move on to the most important part of the podcast for a third of our listeners, I would say. Well, maybe all of them, certainly. But it is now time for the world's most popular hashtag game, Who Won Calcio Twitter. Richard, take it away.
All right. So kicking this one off, it's Dieter Van Gucht. He says, it's from Joe Cappuccino. And it is a happy 570th birthday to Leonardo da Vinci. There it is. It's not really a funny one, but it's a popular, someone important in Italian culture there. So there you go.
I thought they were trying to make it a play on Leonardo, the former sporting director at Milan and managed Inter and managed Milan.
Oh, maybe. Maybe.
So
maybe. I didn't really see that. Maybe.
If that's the case, then how old is Goran Pandev really?
Well, yeah, exactly. That's a good point.
All right. So Zigozens, this was nominated by our friend Sabrina Belmonte. At Zgozens, this is Murata's eye, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Okay. And Derby Day, boys have a single eye on one goal, and it's just showing Murata with one single eye.
Oh, it's lazy eye. That's so wrong.
That's not right.
Yeah, we're laughing. Okay, Derby wins result in Derby tweets. And this one is the Argentines here. You got Joaquin Correa and Martinez in their skivvies grilling with AC Milan. They had it for dinner.
Hope they burn their legs on that grill. So, anyway, okay. Moving on at Romeo Agresti. Allegri, Arthur is dead. I have two midfielders. They are enough, and they advance me. Moretti is there too. Let's not complain. Arthur is dead. Did he literally say that?
Yeah, that's a direct quote from Romeo Agresti. He's a credible source, so it's funny. Oh man, what is it saying? Yeah, I saw that too, Anthony. It reminded me of that tweet where somebody tweeted out. I think Anthony Torgrud tweeted out about that. The translation said that Teo Hernandez is dead, even though that wasn't correct.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So Saturnion tweeted out, Kalulu was offside blocking Handanovic's views. Sucks, but correct call according to the new rules. And then Fortorino said, you forgot to switch your account, bro. Wrong account, bro. Referring to Perisnich, of course.
People were thinking that Saturnion and Perisnich are the same person. So, all right. Well, there are some times where you come across tweets that for these Calcio Twitter contests that you're a little conflicted at first. But the more you watch it, the more you can't turn away from it. And then it gets funny. And then you just start laughing your ass off. And I am talking about the big show at @double_Nerazzurri. A TikTok video of God knows what. And he captions it by saying, Napoli fans, when you tell them you don't work a shitty job with weekend hours and have a normal sex life. And apparently these people in the woods are supposed to be Napoli supporters. You got so much going on here. You got a guy in a Puma sweatshirt with a hockey mask. You got a guy without a shirt on that should have a shirt on, acting like, and then you got a guy smashing a TV with a sledgehammer.
There's a guy in the background.
And there's a guy way in the background there that's just standing there watching it all.
Oh, man, I'm tearing up.
This is like Don Totti level.
Oh. And so Big Show's at it, I guess. He was happy for the win. And this one says, Napoli thinking how they can put a video on a kit here. The Maradona dance video on the kit here. If they can do it, anyone can do it. It's Napoli.
Huh?
Oh, my goodness.
Gonna have like a little 4-inch screen on everyone's gut with.
Yeah.
That would just give you motion sickness of the highest order watching that. So.
Speaking of motion sickness, I think it's a no-brainer for this week, huh?
Yeah. When I saw this one, I was like, this one sets the tone. And I actually mistagged it because I spelled Twitter wrong on the Who Won Calcio Twitter part when I initially sent it out. So Big Show thinks the Maradona one's better.
He's mistaken.
I disagree. This is better.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, no, this one's definitely better. Better.
Okay. As expected, and with all apologies to our Napoli friends, Big Show wins Who Won Calcio Twitter for the week. He
beats Milan, he beats Napoli, he gets it all.
This is at least win number 2 for him. Because he had the one last year with the car and the dirt race that went out of control, talking about Milan's season.
That's right. I remember that. That was a classic.
I want to say he won for one other reason. So this is up there with that. And then Don Totti's band that was marching and dancing with the fires and stuff. Yeah. So, all right. As expected, and with all apologies to our Napoli friends.
While you do that, I'm going to comment on Anthony's comment. He says, "What I don't understand is why Gazzetta dello Sport reported the possibility of Raheem Sterling coming to Milan this summer." Clicks, I guess. Clicks. Unless they know that the deal for the Bahrain group is going through. I don't see that happening at all. Why would he leave there? Especially with the possibility of Erling Haaland coming to Man City. I don't see why Sterling would leave Man City unless they want him out there. So I don't know. This is the time of year we're going to get to that time of year where it's going to be all rumor central, especially with possible new owners coming in too. So the rumor mills is going to be going crazy. So you just ignore all that and wait till for the official announcement from your team, whatever team you support, their official communication saying this is who we got on whatever. That's what I'm going to wait for. Because if you follow all these rumors, you're going to go crazy. You are.
Agreed. You're going to lose your mind.
Yeah.
You just, until it's on the team's website, don't believe it. So
Salamaker's new captain with a new investor group.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. So, and we're going to have to do that Salsiccia Maker Appreciation Group.
Yeah.
That you were looking for last week. By the way, my golfer missed the cut that last week on the appreciation group that I formed. Fabrizio Romano, believe him. I mean, he's okay. What do you think?
Yeah, no comment.
You just don't want to get into trouble.
Exactly.
You're a smart man.
Yeah.
You're the guy that bites his tongue. You're the guy that bites his tongue when asked questions about. Yeah. We're not. That's a whole other podcast.
I'm very bureaucratic.
Is it bureaucratic or diplomatic?
Both.
In any event. You're a cooler head that always prevails.
I learned from my mistakes.
With that, we're going to put a bow on this edition of Serie A Sitdown. Richard, take it away. Anything to shameless plug?
I'm gonna plug someone you, I guess, debuted on with the video, Football Worldwide, and also Inter Worldwide. Obviously, I'm talking about Anthony Prevetra. We had him as a guest last week, so definitely give him a follow and his podcast a follow. Great content creator there. So definitely give him a follow. Appreciate him coming on the show last week for us, and we hope to join him on his shows in the coming future as well. So yeah, always love collaborating with different people. Ricky Buzz, who was one of the first people in the chat tonight, gonna give him a shout as well. Give him a follow. He's a very good content creator as well. So many good content creators going on here. So we love spreading the love out here. So other than that, you can follow me at R_KHARMAN.
Yep, I echo all of those comments. Yeah, had the privilege of joining, providing a video on Football Worldwide. Give those guys a follow at footballww_. Thank you again, Anthony, for having me on. And Schalke first in 2 Bundesliga 2, huh?
That's right.
All right.
Anthony knows. Anthony's following now. I got him hooked.
On the way back up. Okay. So
big game against Werder Bremen. Anyway,
the Schalke Sufferers Club has grown by 1, huh?
That's right.
Sorry, I had to do it.
I lost Uncle Sharma, but I got Anthony. So,
also give a shout out to our friends over there at the Calcio Connection, Alex Dono and Jerry Mancini. They're going to be recording tomorrow night, so check out their YouTube page and check them out. I'm sure that Jerry is going to have some wonderful things to say, as he always does. And Alex just tries to keep it glued together. So, but good friends, definitely endorse them, give them your attention. I'm at FTC_21. Serie A Sitdown. We have our own channel on Apple Podcasts and SoundCloud. You can find us on Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever there are podcasts. You can find Serie A Sitdown at Serie A Sitdown on Twitter and Instagram. Also find us on Facebook. Any comments, questions, thoughts? Hashtag on Twitter. Please just do this on Twitter. Don't do it on Instagram or Facebook. We won't find it. On Twitter, hashtag Who Won Calcio Twitter for the Who Won Calcio Twitter contests. Keep it clean, keep it fun. Not too much at other people's expense. I think that the winner this week is just barely at the threshold.
Yeah.
So he definitely doesn't cross a line. It was funny and not offensive. So I'm still laughing at it. So anyway, Sunday night.
Yeah. No
let's come back on
Easter, right? So yeah.
Yeah, let's come back on Sunday night. We can do Sunday night here. We can do Sunday night. Sunday night the 24th. Sunday night May 1st. Sunday night May 8th, probably not. That's Mother's Day. We want to stay married, so we'll probably be looking at Tuesday May 10th, just to kind of give you an idea of our schedule for the next few weeks. So keep an eye out for us. Thank you, as always, everyone in the chat. Thank you for chiming in. Great to have you guys with us, as always. And be sure you tell your paisans about us. Ciao.